Hello, welcome back to the show. I figured I would relabel this series as Talking Points, because that's pretty much what they are. Today, this morning, we lost, or drew, should I say, to Forest 1-1. Probably wanted a bit more of a better result than that. But I can say that we probably escaped with one. Could have easily been empty-handed by the end of the contest, given that late goal by Forest. Very stiff way to concede. I reckon we deserved a clean sheet. I don't think we deserved a goal either. Actually, we did. We had about 19 shots, and Frank Lampard said in his post-game that he did think that we should have had a few more goals on the board. That's what happens when you don't field a striker and you don't have enough attacking options. Anyway, let's dive right in with the points from the first half. Rondon, obviously, is our only proper striker, and we really looked to utilise that throughout the whole of the first half. All the time that he was on the pitch, there was a set play where he would always come up to the ball after there was a lofted pass towards him, and he would just basically ricochet it off his chest, and one of Gray or Gordon would swoop on it, and we'd be able to get a bit of attacking drive out of that. And that was, we were a bit successful with that. Had a lot of attacking runs going forward, and Forest really struggled with dealing with our pace. And that was one play which really utilised that, which I really liked. First half, James Tarkowski, obviously a very experienced guy, but did show a bit of vulnerability, ran himself into trouble a few times, and that sort of opened the door for Forest a little bit to get a few shots off. Luckily, we didn't score off those. It would have been a pretty pathetic way to concede, but the back line stood up pretty much all day, so no complaints there. The early play we demonstrated in the first half, probably our best. Short, sharp passing, quick ball movement, very free ball movement. We didn't see that enough today. We did fall into the trap of, a lot of passes that had really no attacking impact. You weren't really going forward and doing too much with some of our passing chains. Would be 20 passes on end without any progress. So I think if you can do short, sharp passing, it really adds unpredictability, and it makes it much tougher for Forest to defend or anticipate what we're trying to do. Couple opportunities in the first half went begging. Tom Davies on the back post as a result of a number of set pieces. That's what happens when you've got centre midfielders that just seem to always scuff shots. That's going to be the result. And Davies was unmanned on the back post, no coverage by any Forest defenders, and no result for us. So I was thinking in the back of my mind that could come to cost us in the second half, and it certainly did. We could have possibly given ourselves a couple of goals ahead, or a bit more of an advantage in that first half, and that would have really changed the complexity of the game. But obviously, didn't happen, and we're left to rue some missed opportunities. And then we venture into the second half. First and foremost, if we talk about the goal, Nathan Patterson, basically in the lead-up, got beaten off the dribble, and unfortunately, even though the shot was saved by Pickford, he had already given up. He was ball watching. And very simply put, that was what was to blame for the Johnson goal. He didn't look over his shoulder. I think looking at the replay, Mason Holgate pointed out that Johnson had snuck into that position, and I don't know if he ignored the instruction or sort of dismissed it, but that's just another rookie error by a young player. So it kills you, because the back line stood up well, as I've mentioned numerous times, but what a terrible way to give it up off basically a putback. One of my heroes for today is Jordan Pickford. Mans wasn't even an outfield player and was the contributor of our goal on the evening. A beautiful long pass from just outside our own box, all the way to Demarai Gray. Perfectly weighted, perfectly positioned so Demarai Gray could run onto it full pace. And Gray's finish is just exemplifying. You just need to keep things simple. A simple pass can just split the game wide open, and a simple ball control can also split the game wide open. And in a game where it was really difficult, it feels, to control the ball, a lot of missed passes, a lot of turnover in the middle of the park. Touches like that by Damari Gray, which ultimately contributed to the goal, is incredibly valuable, and we saw that on full display. We talk about the subs. Interesting. Would have loved to see Rondon play more, but in saying that, if he's not fit, you can't blame the full 90, because obviously that is taking away from, what could be a better outfield player. Obviously if you can't apply yourself 100%, it's not worth having you out there on the park for a full 90 whilst you're gassed. In saying that, the fact we only had, 2 attacking options, and obviously that's what we needed to win the game at the time of the subs at 0-0. That's just, it sucks that we've only got the 2 attacking options. This is just, obviously the board is to blame for this. You can't have 2 attacking options on the bench and the rest are all defensive. You need the balance, and we don't have the balance. Onana looked a bit shaky today. That's understandable. As we said when we signed him, you can sort of accept the fact that he's adjusting to the pace of the Premier League and he's young, so mistakes are probably, it's a bit easier to get let off the hook with those younger players that are still getting used to the pace of the game. And then the other sub, McNeil, he was just a bit ropes. Didn't really offer anything. I don't think he was utilised correctly. Pre-game, when you looked at the starting 11, you would have been like, well, McNeil is probably the best set piece taker. But he got brought on for the striker that he should actually be delivering the crosses to, at least in open play. Obviously on set pieces you can bring your centre halves up, and your Onana is essentially another striker with his height, but in open play there were constantly occasions where Damari Gray sprints up the pitch, goes to the corner flag, and then realises that he's got Dwight McNeil to cross to. And obviously he isn't doing anything in the height department in comparison to the centre halves for Forest. So, it's just one of those things. You can blame Lampard, but you can also not. We should have started differently in terms of formation, but not formation, but personnel. Regardless, though, he's got limited assets to work with, and I don't blame him for that. Man of the match for this game is Alex Iwobi. Do I have to keep talking about the guy? He's disciplined. He basically wears his heart on his sleeve whilst he plays. Applies himself perfectly, gets around to all positions on the park, and does a job on all aspects of the game, basically. Offensively, defensively, he's always there. And there's times where he's been tracking back to help defensively, and then offensively he's leading the charge. So you can't ask for much more. He's winning the ball in centre midfield, he's putting in tackles, everything you could ask for from a centre mid. So he's the man of the match, and probably the man of the match for the 3rd week in a row. Something that I don't think people will give enough credit for is Mason Holgate and his discipline this season. It's been very impressive. Not putting in rash challenges, not getting beaten for pace, and I don't think he's conceded a yellow card this year. Maybe one, but it really feels like he's a bit more stable. I think the leadership at the back with Tarkowski and Cody has really helped him, sort of ease in and not feel like he's pressured to, do more than he can handle. He's playing his role for the team, and it's really showing that he can be a really solid Premier League player. The late game chance with Anthony Gordon, I think that is probably the most infuriating thing. He had a really poor game. I think he was out-muscled on numerous occasions, was afraid of the contact. That last opportunity where he could have easily, just tried to go right or try to go left, beat Henderson, and then just basically knock it into an open goal, unmanned. That would have been the simple way to do it, like Damari Gray did it. But unfortunately, Gordon's trying something a little bit different. Tried to chip the keeper, and for a tall keeper like Henderson, that's going to be easy pickings for him. So I just can't help but think Gordon, he didn't have a very good game. Lost possession, as we mentioned. possibly could be gone. And on the back of performances like that, you wouldn't mind if that happened. In saying that, his attacking charge as well, like Demarai Gray, it was very good to see that he was trying to penetrate the defence, or defence, whatever you want to say. But it's all worthless if you can't finish it off and make the right choice, right decision with regards to a pass or a shot. And on that occasion, where he had the opportunity to win it, he decided to make it complicated, which has always been our downfall. As I said before though, overall, we needed the 3 points. We didn't get the 3 points, but we could also consider ourselves lucky that we didn't come up empty-handed. I do think the resilience and the fight back in the last 10 or 15 minutes was commendable. We could have easily gone into our shell, but we didn't do that, which is, credit to the players. But in saying that, why are we leaving it till the last minute to, put our best foot forward? So I don't really know what to say. We've got Brentford next week. That serves as another must-win. We've got a couple games on the trot away from home, so we're going to have to do it the hard way. But very winnable fixtures, Brentford and Leeds, so they're probably around our level. So we need to get a striker, and we need to get him right now, because otherwise it's going to be a long, long season, and our defensive woes from last year will turn into attacking problems this year. That's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed this one. Drop a like and subscribe. We'll be back here next week for Brentford. Sorry I missed the last one with the Aston Villa game. Had some stuff on, but we're back at it. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.